Alright, in this video we're going to start getting ready to control the drone, and we'll go through some of the functions. So again, we're all connected up to our generator, still not on. We're going to go in the back here, just need to jump up in. The master power is on the right here, the circuit breaker. Turn that on. As you see, all the screens are staticky because the drone power is not on, so the video cameras are not getting power. So go ahead and close the door and sit in our seat. Over here on the left armrest, we have master power. That's the master power for the drone. So now the drone is powered. We're sitting in here, and all the cameras come on. I'm going to go ahead and click our generator switch on. The generators aren't going to do anything until the engines are on, of course. Next thing we'll do is we'll start turbine 1 and 2. This is our target altitude, so we'll just put something in here. Put 250. So that's 250 feet. Next thing we'll do is we'll start working on our thrust. So this gauge here is going to be thrust. That's prop pitch. That's the tilt of our rotors. Down is the rotors facing vertical. Forwards is them facing fully forwards. This is our battery indicator. That's just easy representation to show us how much charge we have on our batteries. Over here we have our actual prop pitch. Increase pitch, decrease pitch, increase thrust, decrease thrust, tilt the rotors forward and tilt the rotors up. Over here we have our altitude. We set that at 250. It's going to show 250. Heading, I don't believe, is connected yet. Vertical speed, we're not going anywhere, so it's showing 0, and set vertical speed. So on autopilot here, if we have autopilot master on and we have vertical speed mode on, as you can see, in 100 increments, we can click up our set vertical speed. In vertical speed mode, it's going to try to pitch the craft to maintain that vertical speed. So that's going to be most useful when we're in horizontal flight. So we're going to go ahead and shut that back off. Alright, so we're going to want to use 2 power settings primarily with the UFO. If we're taking off, say, out of a hangar or a tight space, or we want to do some accurate maneuvering close to the ground, we're going to go to 3 green bars. That's going to keep it so we're not, we don't have too much power, so the vehicle's not making big jumpy movements. Next thing we're going to do is our main prop settings are color coded. So red bar is 0 pitch or feather. Again, so if I click feather, it will go to 0. The white bars here are intermediary bars, so we don't really even need to think about them too much. They're just showing that we're not at a colored bar. So we're going to keep clicking up till we go to blue bar. Alright, so blue bar here is pretty much keeping us almost in a hover. We just have a very small descent in blue bar, so with 3 green and blue bar, as you can see, we're still on the ground. We haven't taken off yet. Alright, so we're going to keep it on that for takeoff. So to further go through our gauges, we have our primary flight display. We have our heading in the bottom, speed tape on the left. We have our altimeter here. These two cyan bugs there, we have to turn on autopilot master to get those. So once those bars are on, or those bugs are on rather, we can do heading bug to the right. It starts at 270, and we'll set that. So now that bug is straight ahead of us. We set to 250, so that's right there. Alright, so the next thing we do is we'll actually just have the autopilot take us off. So when we have the tilt rotors either up or to around 50%, so that would be either vertical like they are now or facing about 45-degree angle, that vertical flight mode is very useful. So we're just going to tap that, and as you can see, it takes us off. It's going to take us up to 250. Alright, we'll click the heading hold button on, and as you can see, it's going to work its way back towards that bug. Alright, so now that we're off the ground, we can raise our gear. So we'll go ahead and we'll look outside. I probably have to get out of my seat to see it. And as you can see, the gear up. And as we were talking before, those lights are now completed with the gear up. You can see the bottom of our craft. We have the spotlights in the center, which will aid us later in landing. We have the intakes for our tilt rotors, and those are our lighting effects there. So go ahead and jump in. Alright, so when we're in this vertical hold mode here for vertical flight, As you can see, we're very stable. We're just sitting here. And so this is great for doing spy work. And so as you can see, we have an oil derrick over there. So if we want to turn right towards the oil derrick, we can just use our bug with bug right. And that'll just turn us to the right. And it's going to follow that bug. So as you can see, I keep clicking it over until it lines up. So we're just going to line that little airplane in the front up with it. All right, so now we'll go ahead and we'll work the gimbal camera. So currently what we're going to do with this map is if I click RDR's radar, currently I don't have a radar on here. I don't know if I'm going to put one on. So that's why that's static. That's fine. Next we're going to click cam. Now we're going to go to the camera. So we're looking at the gimbal cam. So as you can see, it's just inside the craft. So it's showing the interior of the craft. So we'll go ahead and we'll open the door. It's going to open the door and it's going to put out the gimbal camera. And so as you can see, we took straight off. So if we zoom in, we're right above the pad. Zoom out, we have left, right. We have up, down. So we'll go ahead and we'll do some spy work on that oil derrick. And as you can see, we're sitting nice and stably, just spying on that oil platform. All right, N is going to be night vision. So if we switch over to night, you see we get a nice look at our night vision camera there. We'll go ahead and jump out. We can look at the lights of the UFO itself. So you see it kind of has a classic UFO look with green lights. We have that spotlight shining down. All right, so that's so the next thing we'll do is we'll just land. So we took off and we land, and we all use this vertical speed mode the entire time. So you're not going to want to make huge changes with this with your vertical speed mode. It will be fine. If you say you were at 5,000 feet and you set it to, I think I've done something like 1,000 feet and set it down to 50. The craft will pitch and come down, and it will level off fine. But if you do large changes, it might waffle around and you'll lose position. So we'll go ahead and we'll start descending here. I believe the pad is something like 30 feet. So we'll go ahead and we'll put our gear down for landing. And we'll just gently come down. We'll go down 150, so that's a 100-foot drop. And as you can see, the easiest way to land is going to be use the gimbal camera. And so I actually don't even want it in night mode. So if you look, remember we said the spotlight is in the direct center of the craft. So as you can see, the spotlight is lighting up the H. So we want to land right by the H. So just keep coming down. I'll go down to 100. Okay, so as you can see, the spotlight is off the H, so we want to land as accurately as possible. So in this mode, the stabilizers are on. All I need to do is use WASD to translate around. So I'm just going to click S a couple times here, and as you can see, we just gently slide back. So we're going to try to put that H right in the middle of the spotlight. That's going to line us up. So, you know, I'll show you. I might show you in a later video landing on that oil derrick. The helipad on those oil platforms or the windmills, they're very tight, especially with the size of the UFO. It just barely fits on the pads. So if you use this method of lining the spotlight up with the H, you'll land on it perfectly every time. So as you can see, the spotlight's pretty much right in the H. Go ahead and we'll go down to 50. And there we go, touchdown. So we'll go to 20 just to keep us down. We're on the ground. We're going to feather our props. I'll go ahead and bring that thrust down and shut the turbines off so it's not so loud. And we'll go look out there and we'll see how our landing was. We can also go ahead and stow the gimbal camera. All right, so shutdown procedure is pretty simple. You don't have to throttle down, but I did. That burns a lot less fuel. So this one yellow bar is ground idle. That's the lowest you're going to be able to get. I'm going to shut off my turbines by clicking these start-stop switches, and you hear them go out. I'm going to go ahead and click Master Power Off. That's going to shut the power off to the craft. Generator can come off. We'll go ahead and I'm going to shut the circuit breaker off for the drone control station, and we'll go on outside. And we'll go back to daylight just to make it easier to see. And as you can see how accurately we landed using that spotlight method. So that would be my recommended way to land is use the gimbal camera, put it in vertical. All you have to do is click R on that screen and that will put it in vertical and you'll have nice accurate landings every time. You can do it manually if you want, but that's going to be the easiest way. Alright, so in the next video we're going to go into, we'll do some actually maneuvering around with that vertical flight mode. And we'll go land on the oil derrick, which is a little bit more of a challenge. Thanks for watching.